This picture shows the main areas of the application. The first and basic area is the space and asset inventory that you can use to build and manage the inventory of your facilities, as well as all the devices situated in each building. When you log into the application, this is the first section you find in a navigation menu placed on the left of the screen. As you can see, the inventory has a hierarchical structure that is shown in detail in this slide. The hierarchy starts with a generic inventory item, which is then specialized in size, that are compasses, complexes, buildings, floors, rooms, and units. Then you can register plants and systems, and then all the assets split into technical devices and furniture. Eventually, there are additional classes for managing outdoor elements, such as parking lots and greenery elements. In the navigation menu of the application, you find a structure of nested folders that you can use to easily find every single element of the inventory. You can also move from one record to the other just navigating the link between the entities. For instance, you can open the record of a building and then decide to move to the record of one of its floors. And you can do this just using the Relations tab and double-clicking on the linked element. Entering and editing the data of the inventory is very easy. To edit an existing record, just click on Modify Card and fill in all the information about your object. Some fields are set as compulsory. Some others are to be calculated, like the number of floors and rooms of a building. To create a new record, click on Add Card Building. Some fields are free texts. Some others are closed lists. For instance, we can create a new building and decide a code and a name for it. And then we set it as rented. I click on Save to create the new record in the inventory. Then you can create your relations between two different objects of the inventory or modify and delete existing relations. For example, we can create a new floor and link it to the new building. To do this, switch to the Relations tab, click Add Relations, and choose Contains Floors. Here you can choose among one of the floors that are already present in your inventory, or you can create a new floor for the new building. We put here the code and the name of the new floor and click on Save to create the new floor in the inventory. Then I select the new floor to create the relation with the building. As you can see now, the new building has a relation with the new floor we have created. If I switch back to the building card and refresh the data, I can also see now that the number of floors of the building has been updated. Don't be afraid of losing information. Every change to every piece of data stored in application is automatically backed up. You can refer to the History tab and see all the changes made to every record of the inventory with the data of the change and the user who performed the change. So you will always be able to reconstruct the situation of your inventory at any point in time. For instance, let us change the availability of this building from used to vacant. I click Save and then switch to the History tab. Here I can see that the last change to this record was performed by the admin user. That's me, some seconds ago, and the attribute whose value changed is highlighted in green. OpenMain gives you the possibility to define a complete inventory of facilities, plants, and assets, but it's completely up to you to decide the level of detail to use. Perhaps you will just register the buildings and nothing more, or you will register the data of every piece of furniture you have in your facilities. To tune these configurations, the application provides a user-friendly administration module where you can deactivate the classes you don't need. You can deactivate a class just by clicking on Modify Class and then using this checkbox. It is also very simple to add new classes. For instance, let's add the new class for smoke detectors that are not included in the default hierarchy of the inventory. Click on Add Class and fill a name and description for the new class. Then you have to decide the place of the hierarchy in which you want to put the new class. In this case, we will put the smoke detector class inside the Safety Device folder. Then we will create a new entry for the menu for the smoke detector class. We select the Safety Device folder and we drag the new class. I'll click on Save, and the last operation to be performed is telling the system to refresh the structure of the classes. So, go to Setup, Server Management, and clear cache. Now, if you switch back to the Data Management module, you will be able to find the new class we have just added. The new class inherited all the attributes from its parent, the Safety Device class. Then, you may decide to add some new attributes or deactivate attributes you don't need. As an example, we will add a new attribute. Go again to the Administration module, select the Attributes tab, and click on Add Attribute. We want to add a new attribute with the installation checklist for the smoke detectors. Fill out as usual a name for the new attribute and a description. Then select the tab in which you want the new attribute to appear. And select the type of the attribute. In this case, we want this attribute to be free text, plain text. Click on Save and refresh again the structure of the classes. If I reload the Data Management module, now I will find the new attribute in the smoke detector class. As you can see, now the new attribute is ready for use. A last thing to mention about this section is the GIS and BIM integration. You can place or view your buildings on a map using the GIS module of OpenMain. If you open up the record of a building and click on the map icon, you can see the position of the building on a map. The orange circle is the building on which I'm currently positioned, and then I can enable also other buildings acting on the checkboxes on the right. You can move and change the position of one building just clicking on Modify Card and dragging the blue circle. You can zoom in and out in order to find the precise location of the building. OpenMaint integrates also a 3D viewer for your facilities. The 3D viewer can read files in IFC format, which are produced by the most modern architecture 3D CAD softwares. Here is an example of how you can view the 3D model of a building. You can navigate the structure of the building by using the Tree menu. You can enable or disable categories of elements using the Layers menu. Moreover, OpenMaint is able to automatically import data from these IFC files in order to synchronize the inventory with all the elements that are present in the IFC file, such as floors, rooms, walls, windows, furniture, and devices. Therefore, you can explore the inventory using this 3D visualization, then read the data associated to each element, and move then to the related record in OpenMaint.